It is exciting news coming out of Chessington World of Adventures as we've had more planning permission go in, and this time it's animal related. Yes, it is animal related, and the good news is they are redeveloping a enclosure, and that will be the otters. The otters are right down by the hotel entrance as you walk in on the right hand side. I don't remember them not being there, to be honest with you. I'm sure there was a time when they weren't, but that enclosure, it has looked a little bit worn. You don't always get to see the otters. It's not the nicest inside. They do have plenty of space. However, we now have a brand new plan for this to be redeveloped to include the Binturongs as well. There's a few key points that we've made notes of that we want to go through. So this is a redevelopment of the area. It's not extending, it's 390 square feet at the moment. It's going to stay 390 square foot. However, you will see shortly that that's actually a lot bigger than what you think it is. Like a lot bigger than what you think it is. It will include filling in part of the pond, because the pond's quite big at the moment, and it will be completely redeveloped. You know, they're not really keeping anything. The houses will be moving. There'll be the new Binturong ones in the middle. There'll be new shrubs, there'll be new planting. It'll be mainly greenland, grassland at the base. It looks completely different, and the style of it is absolutely incredible, which we will show you shortly. It's some great wording from the park. Now, we've always said for the last year that we really hope that animals are staying at Chessington World of Adventures, and this is an amazing step to it. Now, they do reference the lorikeet proposals they put in last year, which they didn't actually follow through on the timeline, which was a little bit of a shame. However, it does still imply that they are a go still. So we might still see those, which is why the lorikeets haven't moved to where we thought they were going to move. But that one still seems to be a bit up in the air. They have said though that animals are an integral part of the resort, which is exactly what I want to hear. I love the fact that it's Chessington World of Adventures and Zoo. It is well renowned as a zoo. And while they can't have the big animals anymore, you know, the smaller ones, they can make some really enriching environments for, and that is what they are doing. Right, let's have a look at some of the ground plans. First, we'll pull up this first plan, and you'll realize from the red line here how big this enclosure actually is. This enclosure is not just the little bit you see at the front. It's not just the tiny little sort of pond area and house and little bit of rock and tree. This area goes all the way back down to the staff area past the Sealife, which at the moment you wouldn't think it would. And that is what makes up the 390 square meters. And this is why there's enough room for this and the Binturongs in there at the moment. So of course the Binturongs, whilst we're looking at this, aren't on display at the park anymore. They haven't left, but they're not on display. They were down in Trail of the Kings, and they are actually, apart from the grillers, the last ones to be removed from Trail of the Kings, right next to the Gruffalo building down by the old vampire ride access area. And although you can still walk down there, they obviously didn't want you to go down there to see the animals because the Binturongs were removed. So they will be moving in here as well. And as again, we look at a couple of the site plans, you look at a couple of ground plans, you can really sort of see the redevelopment they want to do of this. It's quite a big redevelopment. Timeline, before we get on to what it looks like and how it's going to be laid out, the timeline for this is September, October this year. That is the timeline they've put in for it. So this is something they want to do quite quickly. This is something they put the planning in at the beginning of July. It's just come to light now, which is unusual, to be honest, for it to be uploaded. It hasn't been agreed yet. It's worth noting it hasn't been agreed, but we wouldn't expect there to be a problem with it. This is kind of a zoo dedicated area, always has been. There are no recent developments on the Otter site, which they do point out as well. So it's not like it's a site that's continuously redeveloped. So we would think this will go through without any issues, and hopefully they can do it before winter, because as we said, we were a little bit worried at winter that would be no animals to look at. This could be done, dusted, ready for probably November, we would think. Although it says October, I can't imagine it being done ready for the end of October, but we think it would be done for Zoo Day. As we have a look back at the plans and the ground plans, you can see it is a total change. You can see that the otter dens will now be on the right hand side. Pretty much as you look into the enclosure now, they will be ahead of you, where at the moment they're on the left hand side. Still plenty of water for them to go. They'll be leaving that tree in I think that tree's quite old in honesty, and they will be adding shrubs and greenland all around there. There will be climbing areas, obviously, for the Binturongs. These guys can share an enclosure without any problems. And then the Binturongs will be in the middle. At a moment, I would say this is an area which you don't really see where the Binturong enclosures will be. And as you see it, you'll see there is a viewing platform from the outside as well, a viewing area where you'll be able to look into both Binturong beds, if you will, to make sure you can see the animals when you're there. This then extends out the back. So next to this looks like there will be the staff gate in, there's a little path in there, and then it's all greenland out the back as well. And this is stretching right down the side of the Sealife Centre and where the staff areas are. So they are utilising all of the space. Now, I have to say at the moment, I don't know, we don't always see the otters. We just kind of assume they're in their den. We don't know whether or not there is actually more space out the back at the moment which they're using or what is going on out there. But this will be a lot more open for us to be able to kind of see what's going on and be able to get a really good view of the animals. As we continue to look at the plans, you can kind of see nothing else really around that area is changing, but we will now look at some of the 3D plans, because the 3D plans show what the buildings will look like and it will show what the area will look like. And as you can see, it's very, very different. It's very sort of, dare I say, it looks a bit like Wild Asia. It just looks a bit like Wild Asia in the way some of these are laid out, which is fantastic because it is a really nice design. I'm not sure whether or not the big blue tent next to it's going to do it any justice, to be honest, or indeed the brightly colours they've done the entrance at the moment. The only thing I've picked up as a kind of a look is the floor. The floor at the moment does look completely different to the resin that's down there. We wouldn't expect this to change. The resin has gone down. It suits the park quite nicely. I certainly wouldn't be expecting this to change. However, the enclosures look incredible in terms of style and design, viewing areas which are really, really important. I mean, the otters have a couple of small windows. You actually find it's easier to look over the enclosure than what it is to look through the window at the moment, where this won't be the case. So the otter dens will be directly in front of you. You'll be able to look in from the side with massive glass pane windows, very similar to what we've got on the penguin enclosures at the moment. And of course, while we said that, we have seen the penguin enclosure change as well and been upgraded this year. So it doesn't look like anything over this side is changing. It definitely looks like it's the Trail of the Kings that are being moved out. As we move along, you'll see the two viewing areas for the Binturongs. It says house 1, house 2, and it does say viewing area on there as well. But again, just look at the space. Look at the space at the front and the back for here. Things we haven't been able to see before. Looks like now we will get a full view of the enclosure and everything that's going on in there, which is brilliant. Absolute brilliant news that they are doing this redevelopment. When we look at some of the building materials from the side, you can see this is going to look very, very different to what Chessington have put in before. Definitely not the same style as what we've seen, but I really like it. I really, really like it. And I hope this kind of spreads over to Amazoo, because that's got a couple of old enclosures. And I think even now, to be fair, spider monkeys and armadillos, I mean, I have no idea if the armadillos are still there. They apparently are. Would really benefit from this kind of consistent look as we go across, and indeed down to Wanyama as well. But it's a great start because it means that Chessington are looking to redevelop the animals, and they are looking to keep animals at Chessington World of Adventures, which is really exciting news. Really exciting news. Hopefully we'll get to see for this winter. What do you think? Leave your comments below. Changes coming to Chessington, lots of them, but the animals, they look like some of them are staying.